Let's get started right away by nesting the King comp into a new composition we are going to call Composite. Then add the background with 3D layers we created in the previous class as well. In this new composition, we are going to integrate the two elements together and to finalize the key and the animation of the background. In order to achieve this, we are going to despill the foreground, add a light wrap, and animate the sky. To despill the foreground, we are going to use Keylight once again. The plugin has a great internal color correction tool which allows us to thoroughly despill our shot. Once applied to the subject, scroll to the lower controls of effect and open up the foreground color correction controls. Once activated, we can suppress the color of the spill, in our case green, throughout all the shot. As you can see, this kind of intervention is pretty heavy on the overall colors of the foreground, chipping away at the girl's shirt as well. Using the edge color correction further down, we can despill the shot with much more control. This tool allows us to select the extension of the key edge we are going to correct as well as the amount of suppression we are going to apply. If used while fine-tuning the soft and color matte and with the added plus of foreground color correction, we can achieve a seamless result. After we have cleaned most of the spill, we can complete the correction by creating a light wrap for our subject. The light wrap is the ambient light that envelopes all elements within a scene. It is therefore essential in order to create a credible composite. To create the light wrap, we need first of all to define where it is going to affect the foreground. We will do so by creating a light wrap matte from the matte we already have. After duplicating the comp, rename it and change the core matte blending mode to subtract. This way, we are going to get the softer part of our key alone. Let's then tweak a little bit the soft matte in order to have a cleaner background. Now we are going to use the light wrap matte in order to apply a portion of the background on top of the foreground, thus simulating the enveloping ambient light. We can use a blending mode such as overlay, add or multiply, and the transparency of the light wrap in order to make it more integrated. If we pre-compose it, we can manage the result in the composite comp with ease. As for the Despill, it is important to move from one element to the other in order to tweak all the possible issues that emerge. I suggest to use a Gaussian blur on both the light wrap matte and background in order to have just a soft hint of the colors and lighting. Once we apply the light wrap to the shot, we can go back into adjusting the Despill. These two elements need to be worked out together in order to have a maximized effect. At the same time, we need to keep under control both the spill and light wrap throughout the entire length of the composition in order to make sure there are no issues. Now that both the spill and light wrap are completed, let's have a look at the background animation. One important trick to make a composite believable is that nature is never still. In a scene, there must always be some moving elements, being leaves on a tree, water, birds, dust, or clouds. In our shot, we are going to animate the clouds in the background. Let's open up the background composition and add a slight movement from right to left to the sky layer. This will be enough to give the viewer a semblance of reality. It is important to remember that in compositing, we don't aim to reproduce reality, but the perception of realism, just enough to get the audience fooled. With these last touches, we completed the composite step.